Oh, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're working on a range of vehicles, and by range I mean some cars that are completely different. That little race car's a hoot. I didn't drive it, I just aligned it and set up the chassis. Jeffrey put in a hub and bearing in the passenger's front because it had the wrong spline hub in it, and then I did alignment, set it up for the track, and that's the only place that car goes. No tags, no plates, no insurance, so no driving that on our street. But it's time to pull in another lowered car that's here for a scheduled alignment today, and let me get it up on the rack. Sure, this is the lowest one I've put on my rack, or at least driven on my rack. This thing's on the ground. Horrible. -4 degrees of camber on all four corners. Not a corner well. Toes all over the place. We'll balance out our toe. Square up our toe. See what we can do about caster and camber. They're actually pretty close, so we've got almost an hour just in getting it to this point. It's pretty rough. Not very profitable. And let's do our rear toe first. Our rear camber's within 1/10. That's fine. Well, that's what I get for trying to make that a little bit better. Just a little tweak to that toe. Bring it in just a hair. I think he'll make it. Might not. It's the low life. These bearings are so freaking low, man. I'm guessing that's why they don't have them bolted on. Pants are falling down. Sitting on the floor. if that wasn't random enough for you, next we got an 06 Mercedes C280 on coilovers for a street setup. Okay, why not? So apparently here in Columbus, nobody can get their lowered cars aligned. This guy apparently went to several different shops and all of them told him, sorry, can't do it. And we're like, yeah, bring it over. I suppose it's not easy, so nobody wants to do it. Actually, it's not horrible. I mean, it is, but it could be a lot worse. Passenger's front's cambered out. 12 degrees of caster. Wow. You got some work to do. Let's see, this is on coilovers. Let's check to see if there's adjustments. Nothing. Sometimes cordless is just too big. Ooh, went from +9 to -5. That's a good start. I'm gonna get a little more. No, I think that's gonna be it. I should be able to get more than that. Where's my pry bar at? Well, without grinding struts, that's about all we're gonna get. I don't think grinding struts is in this fella's budget. So it is what it is. That is a ton better. We'll take it. You play with the rear a little bit. That sounded awkward. One of the fun things we deal with in Ohio is rust. Those aren't going to be adjustable. So, gotta ask him if he wants us to fix that or not. Here's my 18. Because this has to adjust to give me my toe adjustment. And it is locked into the arm. So it'll need a new arm and a new adjuster. I'm gonna guess the other side's just as bad. She's gonna need arms. Well, we tried. So we got a snafu. My camber on my passenger's front is only at -0.5 degree, and my wheel is rubbing against the strut, and that's a problem because all the parts on that corner are brand new, but it doesn't fit correctly. I don't think the top plates go in a different manner. The real question becomes, why do I have more clearance to the strut on one side than the other? Very strange. I don't know what the answer is to this one. All the parts have been replaced on the right front corner, so lower control arm, outer tie rod end, knuckle. Maybe the subframe is pushed to the driver's side. So Mercedes does use adjustable camber caster bolts. I wonder if lower control arm bolts were reinstalled incorrectly. That's possible. Somebody did it wrong. I guess somebody put their impact on the bolts and tried to remove the bolts. Yeah, somebody jacked up the subframe. So Mercedes uses bolts that pitch the lower control arm in or out. So this thing has a ton of positive camber because the lower control arm's pushed in because somebody put the bolt in, stripped out the way the bolt is held in there. The adjustable bolts allow you to pitch it in or out. I think it's a 1/2 degree with different bolts. Unfortunately, this does not have that, so now the lower control arm won't be held in its place. I can push it in, I'll push it all the way out, I'll tighten it down, we'll re-rack the car, basically start the alignment over, because somebody assembled the lower control arm wrong. And I can't guarantee that it'll hold the alignment because the bolts aren't held in position where they're supposed to be. So that creates all sorts of problems. Alright, so these are the adjustable nuts or bolts, and I've got it set to take the control arm as far out, which should allow me to reduce my camber at my strut to knuckle joint because I had too close tolerance up here on the wheel to the strut after adjusting my camber. So I'm going to re-rack this thing and retake readings, and then I will set the camber correctly, and then we'll be done, I think. I can do. Something is bent in this car. Don't know what it is. I guess it's a subframe. If it was hitting that corner and the strut tower folded in, it would have excessive negative camber. But I have excessive positive camber, and I don't have enough tire clearance to bring it any farther in, which is what I would normally do. With the different sets of wheels and tires, we can change the camber where it needs to be, but as it sits, no dice. Well, I do pretty good, but I don't win them all. This one turned out, I got it improved as much as I can. But the camber on that passenger side is still positive from where it should be. My lower control arm is shimmed all the way out. And the bolts that are in there, the adjustment bolts will hold it. It locks them in place, so I'm good there. I'm not worried about my lower control arm shifting back in. Where before the washers weren't installed right, so it could have slipped and moved around. I haven't wrapped my head around why I can't get the same camber on that side as this side, because everything's symmetric, you know. That passenger side, front, lower control arm, knuckle, all the brakes across the front, outer tie rod end, so a whole bunch of suspension parts were replaced on that passenger's front. I don't know if it got hit in the passenger's front. If it did, it's possible the subframe has damage, or possibly the frame horns are kicked sideways a little bit. If the tower was pushed in, I would have excessive negative camber, so it's not the tower. But I got it as good as I can get it for now. We're going to let the customer take it because he needs to drive home and to and from work. And I'll think about it. Maybe there'll be an episode 2 on this. Probably not, but you never know. Sometimes people want them fixed. Well, with that, thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. Thanks for coming along with us on the cars that sometimes we try to fix. Most of the time we win. This one's mostly successful, and none of them would even hang heads on it, so I guess that's a win. We'll take what we can get. It should drive a heck of a lot better.